First things first, Else Dragoon, if you're lurking on your phone while you're at like your kid's game, you're my hero.
I don't think we're on. We're still on stream. We'll be back shortly. Oh, there we are.
I was about to say, no, it should have just transitioned over.
We're on! Hey, can
We're
you hear
on.
me, by the way?
So what?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Got this new headset.
Yeah, I've been monitoring your levels this whole time. You're good.
Chock-a-block full.
Do you want to tell them how you got your headset?
I mean, my stepmom gave it to me.
Oh. Jesus, man.
For you, I performed.
The alley-oop. The alley-oop to just a fucking airball slam into the ground.
Did you do something with it? I was the team member that you turned around to pass through the ball, and I had a hot dog in my hand. I didn't know you were playing.
Oh my god.
I told Taylor I committed war crimes.
I mean, war crimes was like... war crimes is like... That's like a funny thing if you build up to it, it's good. But no, like you just started... Yeah! Well, no, it's like, here's the thing. Like, if somebody starts out a joke, it's like, oh, war crime, ha, 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 then like, it's a shitty joke. Like, you're being edgy or whatever just for the sake of like getting a laugh. And like, that was funny like 20 years ago, but like, it's not anymore. It's just not clever. So like, yeah, it can be funny if like it progresses.
You make an actual joke.
Right. Your thing, which was totally not edgy and totally not over the top, was that you'd beaten up a child and taken his headset. Yeah.
Well, I said I used mustard gas. I said mustard gas was involved.
That was after we brought up war crimes. That's another escalation.
You tried. I do want to take you out of context because you said crimes when you lead up to it is funny.
Yeah. Can somebody, when I die, take like a black and white picture of me and just a quote and like, war crimes are funny when you build up to them, and then just my name?
I mean, in the off chance I live longer than you. Well, I mean, if I incorporate with machines, which I have no fear of doing,
right,
and other people I think are apprehensive about.
Yeah, no, it should be. I feel like I see that
We've
happening.
never talked about this.
What, that you're not afraid of machines?
No, merging my body and consciousness with them. How into that are you? Would you do it at a moment's notice?
I mean, like, it definitely depends on, it depends on what that looks like for me. If we're talking about a Futurama, like, head in a jar situation, that honestly kind of sounds like shit. I don't really want that. If we're talking about a Futurama, like, Hermes turns into a robot and it's like a Theseus's ship of humanity, yeah, sign me the fuck up. I'm down. Let's do it.
Borg me, Skynet me, I don't care, as long as I'm involved. I just want to be a part of the team.
I just want to keep existing in some form or fashion.
Yeah, I can't handle the idea that I won't.
Now if it's a Black Mirror, what was the name of that episode? It's like the old folks home, but it's like a virtual old folks home where you live as a young person forever. Like, yeah, that's like the dream.
Black Mirror could keep trying to scare me away from technology, but it won't ever work.
Either it looks dope as shit or it's stuff that we already have. Like what's the thing? That whole episode where they have people running from like the weird little robot dog, and it's supposed to be like this terrifying thing that like kills people or whatever. Like, they already have that shit. That already exists.
We've been kicking it for 15 years.
Right?
Every time I see one of those videos, I'm like, oh, they should really stop kicking these robots.
This is actually how the uprising happens, right?
I'm like, they're like, no, it's so it does machine learning and learns to. I'm like, yeah, but You're the first against the wall.
Right, but like what is the machine learning, right? Is it learning how to walk, or is it learning who's kicking me and why? Because
so I've been Googling, I spent a lot of work today. Looking up tools, and I won't bore you with torque wrenches. Unless you want to talk about torque wrenches and why I hate CommScope. But you don't. What you do want to know is that I've been Googling lateral thinking all day, which is interesting. And I think there's some strategies that if we both get on board with early on for using, I think that it might make problem solving fun.
Okay.
So
this is all very cryptic right now. Like, what do you?
And a lot of lateral thinking strategies are very cryptic.
Okay.
Because it is the definition of adaptation in our game, right? Like, it is overcoming an obstacle logically by thinking outside the box, by going all the way around the maze instead of following what you assume are predefined rules, or like using language that like doesn't mean anything. Like, the factory gets water downstream of itself, which was a lateral thinking process, but then they're like, oh, actually, let's utilize that to stop pollution. And they did. Factories had to, like, in certain countries, had to start getting water downstream from themselves if they wanted to operate, and that was a way around polluting. So they're like, well, now the only water you can get is polluted water, so you better not pollute.
Right.
Anyways, Brian Eno made this thing. Are you familiar with Brian Eno at all?
I'm not, no.
He's a musician, and he invented this set of cards called oblique strategies that are centered around musical, like, thinking, but, like, can be used for other things, too. And whenever you, like, have a problem in songwriting, you're supposed to draw the card, but no matter how, like, it doesn't seem related to the problem at hand, you're supposed to follow the thinking strategy involved on the card. There's like 100 of them. It was like him and this like French artist came up with them. But like a lot of people have used them. I think Management wrote an album with them, but they were like, I don't know if we used it right, but it worked.
All right.
But yeah, I'm going to just talk about lateral thinking a lot for a little while.
By all means. I mean, what... Is there something you want to apply these like lateral thinking techniques to, or
stuck on a conundrum and we don't know how to solve it? I think it might be fun to look at a different like thought process of thinking about things instead of like traditional like linear thinking and like getting into like what is it like not combative, that's the wrong word, but like courtrooms are like argumentative based. Lateral thinking tends to not be argumentative based thinking. It's like putting forth a bunch of different suggestions, no matter how ridiculous, and following the through paths of all of them. It's interesting.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm down. I'm in. I just
don't know what you signed up for.
Well, no, it's just that like you're telling me it's like if I told you like I have this beautiful toy like that's directly off screen and you're like, can I see it? And I'm like, no. But you will, but when the time comes.
When the time comes, you will see the toy. It's a gun, isn't it?
It is a gun. Well, tell you what, while we're doing this, speaking of new toys, Corey and I have been hard at work over the last couple of weeks. So as per the last couple of streams, we do want to just kind of show off what we've done so far. First and foremost, check this shit out. We have a real life, let me see if I can. Wow, you are just determined to not make that work. Okay, one sec. We have a real life, honest to God, character sheet for fucking Vault Peddlers, y'all.
Yeah.
This is a huge deal. I can't believe we are here, but like we actually have a real life. It's got all of the stuff for like your health nodes, armor nodes, movement nodes. We also have little boxes here for like temporary additions. You've got your approaches, you've got your skills, you have traits, which are very cool. We've also got little masteries, which are like the capstone feats for like cool things that you can do as your character levels up and progresses. We have a little wallet here for your petty coin and improvement. We've got your reliquary items, armaments, armor, expanded masteries, and debts and favors, which I'm very excited about.
I thought it was good, right? Like I was like, yeah, we should have something like that. And it's one of those things where it's like, it's not something we can. I mean, I guess we could throw mechanization behind it, but it makes sense to have something to track that in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. So the next step that we're looking for here is if we can make it possible to get a CSS version of this that we could like upload onto Roll20. That is obviously the dream. We'd love to have give players the option to use that going into the playtest. If not, for now the form fillable will work. It'll function.
So here's what I would do too if we did have this on CSS, because there are a couple things that were hard to do because I don't know how much room is going to take up. But like when you go down to like the reliquary, I would have insertable boxes on CSS like they do for feats or weapons or whatever on different character sheets with all of these tags in it, like range, cost, damage, whatever, so you could fill in all the appropriate information just in your reliquary box for all your items so that you could stack as many as you wanted in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And like, yeah, that was the one thing that was like form fillable. I don't know how to do this because I don't know how much room we're really gonna need.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a one of those things where if we can find like a CSS solution to this, then I mean that's so much the better. Nonetheless, though, I mean like we do need to remember that not all games are played on VTTs, so like it's very cool that like we actually have like you can print this. We're going to have like links for a free download for this character sheet on the website. That'll be something we're going to get uploaded by, should be by the beginning of the playtest, but at the very least by the beginning of stream next week. Which leads us to another thing that we're dealing with. Does anybody want to fucking play our game?
Please.
Jesus
Please
Christ. We've gotten to this weird point where like the game is kind of ready. We're kind of set, and like I don't know, we have just had the weirdest rush of bad luck with playtesters for the last couple of weeks, where just we have not been able to get anybody who seems to be free to do this.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's one of the things that we are working with a limited group of people, so it's like commitment to that time for TTRPGs is notoriously hard anyways.
Yeah.
Especially for like playtesting our game. Hey, do you want to play a game you've never heard of?
I made it, and we'll be looking for bugs in the system as you're going along. It'll be very fun.
Oh, is it a good game? I don't know.
What just happened?
I don't know. What?
I don't know. Our Google page. Hang on one second. Okay, there we go. For some reason, the page for the Google Doc on stream switched over to our Discord.
Weird.
Yeah, it was just really weird. Okay.
Don't look at Haley's conversations.
Don't look at them. They're private.
That being said, like, I'm at the point now, like, where I'm just going to start reaching out on, like, the RPG Reddits and being like, hey, do you want to be on stream? Are you not a notorious shithead?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing I'm worried about. Is just like, are you shitty? As long as you're not shitty, I would love to have you on at this point.
Well, here's the thing. I think we can self-filter a lot of that because our character sheet has pronoun right there. I think a lot of shitheads are going to be like,
never mind.
Okay, cool, then you don't get to play.
Yeah. So yeah, just a heads up then to anybody out there, we are looking for playtesters. If you have any inkling, if you just want to be on stream playing tabletops, let us know.
I hear that's big.
Yeah, I hear that's popular nowadays. I get that it's a low bar. I get that it's going to be by default, but you will have to be on like our most popular streams because
you'll be famous.
Yeah,
like
by our standards.
Yeah. And so here's the thing too. We are going to have a character sheet by the end of the weekend for the Caravan system too.
Woo!
Woo!
Yeah, very exciting stuff.
Yeah.
I am so looking forward to, like, I think that one of the biggest roadblocks, and actually I've been thinking about this a lot over the last week, is when we start making a new game, we should actually start by building a character sheet.
We start making a new game.
Can you say that again? You almost completely cut out.
Also been thinking about when we start making a new game and like the first things I want to focus on.
Yeah.
I don't know character sheets on there for me, but I do know that like all of the shit that we didn't think about until the latter half of our game would be on my, I don't know. I don't want to design a character sheet right away without knowing what the vibe is.
Well, no, but I think that that's actually what you have to do. Cause like, I don't know. The thing is, looking at a character sheet on any game makes things make sense. Like
Sure.
when you sit down and like you haven't played Call of Cthulhu before, or like you haven't played PBTA before, if you like having that character sheet isn't just so like you can keep track of your stats, it's like a process of introducing you to the mechanics of the game. And I honestly think that, I mean, understanding, right, that we'll probably trash whatever we put on the first character sheet. I actually think that we should have our first, like the whatever we start our new game, one of the first things we should do is build a basic character sheet that has like, you know, when you roll, you pull from this box and this graph and whatever, and then go from there, building out like the rules.
Good way to grab a hold of like actual mechanics you're going to need by thinking visually about assets you might need.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
I can see that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I've just been thinking about it a lot ever since like we got you showed like the new character sheet, and like looking at it and being like, oh shit, yeah, like this is all kind of starting to gel together now in a way that it didn't necessarily before. Like I understood it all, but it's abstract until you look at the character sheet. It's just like, okay, you have this, and this, but like that's not what the character sees. The character sees their sheet.
It is what. At the same time, maybe we can start with like generating like GM facing tools right away, which would also be a fun way to do it. Yeah.
I mean, that's actually, that is still something even that Vault Peddlers doesn't have a lot of. Like,
yeah, well, maybe that's something we can both brainstorm of assets for Archivist.
Yeah. No, I've been brainstorming kind of a sheet to like keep track of your party in terms of like abilities and like nodes and petty coin and all that stuff. Because I made one custom for L5R that I have whenever I GM for that.
Fancy.
Yeah, so like that's been at the top of my mind for Vault Peddlers.
Because I'm afraid.
Say what?
We're never returning to Rokugan because I'm afraid of this.
because I keep pinning you in political scandals. Yeah, congratulations.
I'm conflicted on how to solve them. I'm
good.
Sure, my character is
good. That was the point.
Yeah. Oh, my friends aren't gonna like me.
Oh, they're not. They're really not. You've been leading them this whole time with like the steadfast assurance that you will do the right thing.
Do a thing.
A thing. Yeah.
You said the right thing. I said I'd do the right thing.
the right thing.
You didn't hear it because I mumbled on
Did
purpose.
you? Because it dropped off a little bit.
Here's one thing I'm really excited with the character sheet too, was the solution for traits. Because we were talking about like having the actual trait tree on the character sheet and how to solve that. And I thought this was a pretty elegant solution. You write in your traits, you write in how many ranks you have, and you can just keep track of them there.
Yeah.
If I could talk about the physicality of the character sheet here, because making a character sheet is a puzzle. It is.
I
mean, it is a lot to figure out, and like, I was texting you because I was like, man, I'm at a loss on how to organize this best, and the way I decided to was because Vault Peddlers is a very skill-based game.
Yeah.
And it is a game that like utilizes like modularity, right? Like you can put this approach with this skill with this trait.
Yeah.
And my big thing was like, how do I organize this all? Because those three things definitely have to be on one page. If they aren't on one, like then that's confusing.
Right.
I can't be flipping to like my traits back here, and I was like, oh man, which means like now I have to make combat and items take a back seat, or I'm like, or do I put all my items and stuff in the first page, which was my other concept, like very novel approach. I almost had the wallet at the very top. Like, because this game is about, like, money
it's about
and
capitalism, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, it's like this I've never built a character sheet before. I was like...
Well, it's a weird dichotomy of, like... Because here's the thing, like, having your wallet and items up front would make more sense for the character themselves. So it's this question of, like, do you go thematic and do you stick to what the character would want, or do you stick to what the player needs, which... I'm glad ultimately this is what you went with, because I would argue that is the right decision, right? Ultimately, the sheet exists for the player, not the character.
And this, like the whole, like these are the conversations that we are going to be having with book organization too, because as I made that Reddit post to be like, okay, if everyone agrees that books are organized poorly, why are they organized poorly, and like, what makes a good book? To which we both saw the answer was not a lot, man. Like, the issue is that you're doing 5 different things, and that's something like everyone sort of recognizes is the fault with TTRPGs.
Right.
Like, there is no right answer. There are better answers. There are like certain solution paths you can take. Most of them mean don't make a cyberpunk red. Listen, I love Mike Ponson. I have a ton of fun with that game. And I think online it is manageable because you can like hyperlink to different areas and whatever.
Yeah.
But like my major concern with it is like it's so thematic that like when I'm looking through the index or the fucking table of contents,
you can't look anything up.
Oh my god! I'm like, what does fucking that mean?
Yeah, none of the. It's all in-world lingo and terminology in the index, which basically means that unless you know what that lingo actually is and what it refers to, you can't look anything up.
It's like reading Trainspotting.
Yeah. It's not great. No, I totally agree. And like, this is actually something that like me and you have had a lot of behind the scenes conversation about in terms of like, what do we want the tone for this book to be like? And like, we have kind of a set idea on what we want sort of like, what's the word? Like text splat, like text boxes, info boxes, flavor boxes to look like. But then there was this question of like, well, you know, what do we do as far as the mechanics go? You know, do we keep that same voice? How do we set up like our index, which I haven't even gotten to yet? It's going to be a nightmare.
I'm so excited for that part of the game because
it's going to be awful, truly awful. But
I joke too because like that is something that we are both going to be grappling with.
It is. I think that it's by definition of me being the de facto writer, it's probably going to fall on me more than anything else. But I mean, yeah, no, I mean, we only have 2 sets of eyes right now, you know, until we add a third, yeah, what I do goes down to you.
Well, you know what though? Like, writing is going to be fun because that is where like design is going to meet writing, right? Like,
yeah.
where we're putting narrative text boxes, where we're putting like rule text boxes, things like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be fun to work with you on stuff. Like,
Yeah. And,
I'm excited for that.
And actually, on that note, let me show you some of the stuff that I have put into our little doc here. For the moment. Okay.
Taylor and I bought a dog.
We did buy a dog. That is correct. So first thing I did is I took your equipment and items tables and I have kind of streamlined them down and turned them into just kind of like the same sort of tables that we have had before. So under the equipment section, you'll find just equipment and advanced equipment. I've put them all together on pretty similar looking tables. I didn't subdivide them the way that we've done prior to this, just because they are so compact. As the tables expand, we'll probably have more reason to do like, H2s or maybe even H3s, depending on what we're looking at. But this is kind of what we're looking at so far. So
it looks fucking great.
Yeah, it's very clean this way. It's very readable this way. And it's separated out same way that you had it, like ranged, melee, armor. This is supposed to be items. Hang on one sec. There we go. But yeah, basically just designed to look a little bit more readable for people who are kind of new coming into the game. I'm gonna get this real quick. So I did forget to separate.
We should probably get some more basic items, like as far as like weapons go.
Yeah. I mean, the lists are. I mean, to be clear to everybody, Corey made these items by himself. I did not do any of these, and like that in mind, I think that you played it very smart for the initial play tests, where like you created a small variety for like every category that you had. Which was, I think, the way to do it. But yeah, no, we do need to expand probably a lot of these. Because, like, if we go up to, like, regular equipment, melee weapons, like, we have, like, a whip, a spike, knuckles, and a knife. But, like, we don't have, like, a sword, a club, like, improvised weapon, unarmed. These are all things that will need to be added onto the tables as well.
Yeah, that is the thing. Like, like these are the things we need to be thinking of. And, like, unarmed is a question that's going to come up.
Yeah.
Improvised weapons is a question that's going to come up. Status is another thing on our radar. It's a thing that's going to come up.
Yeah, statuses are absolutely going to be coming up in the game. We're not going to have them in this playtest, but we both know that it's somebody's going to ask about it during, and we both know it's going to have to be somewhat prepared by 1E.
Or like reactive and less like. So a lot of my issues with statuses in games like Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder and things like that is like, they're like, you get blindness, it lasts one round. And I'm like, okay, so that's that's all of this combat, right? Like,
right.
That's like the entire combat you are blind now.
Yeah.
Like more reactive statuses that you can like take off, buy off, like use your, or like in the same vein that we are doing like objective based combat.
I really love the idea of you burning petty coin to remove statuses, like taking the magic or something, and just like you like take like a magic coin and just slam it into your blind eye to like remove whatever sludge blinded you.
It doesn't. It fucking replaces it. Let's be serious. In our game,
that's tight as fuck.
It just like burrows into your head. And like that's why I'm all cogs, baby.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. What were you saying?
I don't know. I got on board with you jamming.
Yeah, no, I just that's a cool idea, having a like sort of a reactive status feat and the ability to change it by burning resources. I think that's very in line with our game.
So like having just shorter durations, I think would be more fun. Like variable and shorter. Like,
Yeah.
because we have, like, these objective-based combats, like, which, by the nature of them, are supposed to make combats shorter, in that you are, like, trying to achieve this thing before X happens, or Y is going to happen unless. Which is another thing I really like about the objective-based combat. It's very yes and, no but.
Yeah, for sure.
Which a lot of combat doesn't have, right? Like, it's just like, you get hit. So, like, I think bringing that in is fun. But, like, it would be cool to, like, vary that up in line with our game being shorter combats. I like
Totally agree. Okay, so next thing I want to show is going up to the company store. I've fleshed out this section a little bit. So first thing I've done is basically explained what the company store is and how it works. There is an example of using items from the company store that I've also created. That is under the basic roles section. We'll get to that in just a minute. But as for the table itself, what I've done here is I've kind of intentionally left a lot of these descriptions very general and sort of one line. Which, Corey, if I remember correctly from previous conversations, that was kind of the intent behind Caravan Resources. Like, you have these items, but like how they're used and how they work, really more up to GM Fiat, because they're really just providing an add-on for your role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
I mean, I think this gives, like, a direction to them that didn't exist before, right? Like,
Yeah.
before it was just, you add a D4. Now we have, like, well, I'm going to use this small figurine. Okay, how are you using that small figurine to help your role? Like, you still have to justify it.
Right.
Which I think, like, yeah.
Right. No,
I'm hucking it at his fucking head.
yeah, right? It's a figurine of his mother. No, so that was kind of my intent, but we do now have like the die type and just a very brief description. If there are mechanics for them, I have them listed, but usually they're very limited. I don't really start getting into descriptions until you start getting to like the D10, D12 items.
Right.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Although, like, looking at a lot of these, like, once we start getting, like, conditions down, especially if we're going to have, like, variable condition stuff, I could see a lot of that applying, like, to, like, aerosolized paint.
Yeah.
Like, aerosolized paint can last this many rounds kind of stuff. Like,
Sure. If you're sprayed in the face with it, you suffer this condition.
paint face.
Okay, yeah, so then going up to basic roles.
Can I say something? This
yeah.
looks dope, dude.
Hey, thank you, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
like,
it.
this is, like, in the same vein that you were saying that, like, looking at the character sheet is bringing everything together, like, looking at tables is bringing everything together for me.
Tables help. Tables, like, a big part of my actual big boy job is, like, finding the easiest ways to convey information, like, in very short-sized bites, and, like, it's tables.
Yeah,
Every
man.
fucking time it's a table. But yeah, thank you. Going up to basic roles, I don't think I've really expanded anything here except for the flavor box that I've put on. So we have an example here of basically what a role looks like in person. So Marcia's character, Smasher, is trying to get through a locked door. She decides Smasher would probably try to smash through the door. Archivist tells her this is a brutality ferocity roll. Smasher has a D8 in brutality and a +3 in ferocity. Getting through the door is important, so Marcia also decides to use a D8 caravan die to add an armor plate to her roll. So tells you what she rolls, tells you that she gets a 15. This beats the TDV of 13 to bash through the door, so Smasher gets through, burning one of the caravan resources from the community pool. Is there anything to that? Yeah, I mean, that's how the system works, right?
Yeah. See it written out like that. Like,
Cool.
I'm like, oh, that makes sense. And this is a game that, like, has been living in our heads for so
Yeah.
long that it's, like, cool to see it like that.
Well, and it's something that, like, it's been on my mind a lot with Elstragoon's comments, because, like, Elstragoon has been, like, on this stream for, like, a year and has repeatedly said, like, I still don't really know how your game works. And it kind of hit me that, like, at no point in this process have we wrote this specifically down to show you like this is what you would roll. So yeah, I wanted to include this. Let's see here. We've added on caravan resources to their rolls. That links to the caravan resources section. And then the final paragraph there is just basically a thing about like the caravan resources is a community pool. Like you can use it, but if you do, it takes away resources that other people could use. So like, be careful, watch it as it goes. Let's see here. I've added on a little bit more onto approaches and what they mean. Basically just explaining what an approach actually means, what it's meant to refer to. Are you laughing at my line about... It's a big thing in Orin. There's more than one way to skin a metal serpent.
Yeah, you've been heading Orin for a little while.
I don't
even know what's going on there. Like, I have a light idea.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing is, like, when I was doing the timeline, I had this realization that, like, man, we've buffed out Ishtas so much. And, like, we've done a little bit of work into Vigil in a recent stream. But, like, Orid has been just kind of a mystery, like, on our three big cities. So, yeah, I've been trying to put little bite-sized things from Orid into it.
I just thought of a really cool idea for a splat book we could make later.
Just like Orid lore?
No, like a game, like a setting progression splat book we could make called like Satellite Cities, talking about the cities that rise and fall in Eva due to like the dangerous waste-like nature, and create like a system for like creating cultures. Like, on these satellite cities and how they evolve, like as like a gameplay mechanic or as an archivist, like how to make these little cities and how they fit into the world and like how they could hook into adventure quests and stuff. That could be really fun.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I love that. We actually, hang on. I want to just go down to lore really quick. I'm going to put a note on that.
Hell yeah. That's how I make the big bucks.
This is why you're here. You don't do anything else.
Corey gets a stake because he's a lunatic.
That is not completely far off.
What I said. Hey, you want to know something fucking insane? Looking for that that piece of mail that I was trying to find to get my license renewed because I'm an idiot. I had to dive through lunatic sheets.
That must have made you feel like real legit, right? Like, oh man, yeah. I've hit the big times.
I found like some really early cyberpunk writing. Like, it was pretty cool.
You were just a boy then.
I'm a hedgehog.
Let's see here. Have I added anything else? Oh yeah, okay, so directly above basic roles under mechanics, I've written what I think we're gonna have for this section. Basically just telling you, like, here are the sections that, like, you can expect below, like the subsections within this section. I've also put a note on here, some shit you're just gonna have to make up as you go. Then also I've linked to our website, basically just saying, like, if you see anything that, like, lots of things you're gonna have to make up, but if you see something that you have to make up that you really should not have to make up, then, like, let us know. And this is and this is also just like a CTA for them to be like, hey, like, these are next steps if you want to get more involved.
Also, like, cool, like, link to our website, check out our other products.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, you're a capitalist pig.
This job has ruined any last semblance of punk cred I might have still had.
As the basement goblin, I'm gonna stand outside of our own office and throw a bottle into it. You here?
Because I put a reach out to us if you have problems. It's a real heartless capitalist thing to do, huh?
Fight the system. No, I mean, like, I would like to be very reactive with errata, right? Like, doing, like, I like that.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. I'm pretty sure that's the last bit of stuff that I added in this week. But suffice it to say, just to reiterate to anybody who might be watching this fucking stream, the game is ready. Let's fucking play a game. If you want to play test with us, let us fucking know.
Ideally, I won't be playing, folks. Ideally, it will be 3 people, 4 people, and Taylor, and I will be looking over his shoulder as a little dice golem.
Yeah.
Ah, man! If you become a wizard, I'm gonna be your familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of already our relationship, Corey.
Hell yeah.
I'm the keeper of the book, and you're the little voice that whispers in my ear every night.
I'm the darkness from the abyss.
Hi there, my name's Jim Bones, servant in perpetuity of the Dark Lord Shivoth. How may I help you?
I'm Jim Bones, but with a lot of Hawaiian shirts.
That's a sick Jim Bones. Oh, hey, did I tell you I'm on for the Monster of the Week tattoo? It's in July. Next one's going on.
Fucking tattoo, that's wild to me.
Yeah, I'm so excited about it.
I'm gonna cry.
I'm trying to decide. I'm working with the artist right now because I'm not sure. I know I want something crushed in vines, but I'm not sure if I want it to be glasses or if I want it to be like a tape recorder. And I'm going like back and forth between which one I want to do. But yeah,
maybe a tape. Maybe like just a tape.
Tape, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
A tape would actually be very funny given how little I actually got to use that tape recorder.
The rules told me to take things away from you. Yeah, man. Like, that was the only time I felt confident with a music choice was that first intro reading to that first session with the like song change like to Neil Young in the middle of it.
Oh God, yeah. Hell yeah.
So, we want to talk about something else fun?
Yeah, sure. What do we got?
Let's look at some conventions, dog.
Oh, fuck. Hell yeah. Let's do it. So you're probably more on the ball with this than I am.
No, I haven't looked at shit lately.
Okay. Well, then hang on for me one sec. Just gonna resize this window. Okay.
Like,
That
next
looks-
year's Gen Con, we should be on the ball for like, buying tickets at the very least, like, as soon as they go on sale.
Yeah. So that's what, Gen Con 2023?
Yeah. And by then, all of the unpleasantness in the world will be over, so...
Yeah, no, it'll be totally fine to travel and be in large groups of people, and yeah, no, nothing bad could happen.
Yeah.